and welcome to Sirens, brought to you by Mix, only at Coles, where the clothes are as fresh as the spring morning. Welcome, Elisa.
Hi, it's cold.
It is cold. And Kate?
Hello, Ange.
I'm feeling terrific this morning. It's the best I felt the morning after the Brownlow in a long time. I didn't go. I was on the couch with a cuppa, and I'm also feeling great because of Jobe Watson, the fans' choice for the Brownlow medal. Terrific.
Total pin-up boy, isn't he? He was so articulate, so warm and generous in his speech. I just thought that's what the AFL wants footballers all over to look like.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was Gary Ablett who got off to a blistering start with Andrew Demetriou. And then from round 6, Jobe was in front and he was never headed. It was emphatic. It was a wonderful victory.
He looked so nervous though, waiting just to see if he's enough in front to get him across the line. But he admitted that he, might have been a little bit grumpy. But he was just fantastic. His speech, some of my best friends are Essendon supporters, and they just, they refer to him as Saint Jobe. And I wanted to find fault with him when he got up and made that speech, but he was just perfect.
Flawless, wasn't he?
And when he mentioned about, the sacrifices that his friends and family have made to allow him to be an AFL footballer, I just thought that was so gracious. And, just a great thing to acknowledge, because you don't often see that. Usually footballers would sit back and think, you're lucky to be my mate. So it was great.
It was all about his family, wasn't it? And his father in particular. And it was just great how he said that this would mean more to them than himself. Yeah. He was just so gracious, and the reference to those father-son chats that he's had over the years.
It does show how important parents and the support structure around players really is. Obviously, Jobe's is very fortunate to have an amazing father of football, but I think every player, needs those mentors and those strong figures who can provide them guidance in their life. And for some of them, it's their captain or their coach. But obviously, Jobe shows how important it is to acknowledge and appreciate those supporters as well.
The other part of the Brownlow is, of course, the fashion side of it, and the intense scrutiny and savage scrutiny that takes place from before the event even starts until 1 or 2 days afterwards. I don't much like it. I think it's completely over the top. There were women there last night who were just made to feel so uncomfortable about what they were wearing. It's a dress. Let them express who they are. What do you think?
I'm not in the same camp as you. I've thought really long and hard about it, and I actually like having the fashion and red carpet before the Brownlow. It's the night of football. It's a way to thank the women who have supported their men through the season, and they do have the opportunity to feel special. They did it with class. I don't think that the AFL or the coverage really pulled them down, and in the spirit of football, it wasn't so much about the girls. Any critique was about the dresses, but I think, the Emmys were on the same night, and any one of our football women, bar just a few, could have stood on the stage with the Emmys because they were so classy. I felt sorry for the Sydney women, though, stuck up in some function room at the SCG sipping on Powerade, poor loves. Yes. But I like the fashion. I think it's really important that everyone's really fashionable with what they do in football. This is my top today that's inspired by Bryn Edelsten. So it's basically like I ate Bryn Edelsten, just had a touch of the Luke Hodge vom-voms on the evening, and just, this is what I finished up with. So I'm quite happy with that.
But these women are made to feel like a coat hanger, and not a nice wooden one, a wire one. I just feel like...
But they like it. Like most of them on the red carpet, they said, I enjoy this. This is my favourite night of the year. How often do they get to dress up like that, Ange? Maybe their wedding day. And that only happens 2 or 3 times in a lifetime for some of those women. So
it's just the intense scrutiny. It's just over the top.
If they don't like it, they don't have to go. And clearly they all made an effort. They went with unbelievable couture gowns. So, you know what, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. The coverage was kind.
Okay, let's get on to the grand final now. Hawthorn and Sydney. Who's going to win and why?
Oh, look, I think given that I've tipped wrong for every single final, I'm going to say Hawthorn in the hope that I'm wrong again.
I like the way you think.
Yeah.
I think Hawthorn will win as well. They had the wobbles a little on the weekend, but if that forward line kicks into gear and they're accurate, I think they'll be too powerful for Sydney.
Well, I'm going to go with the underdog, and I'm going to support Sydney. I know there's a big Victorian interstate rivalry, but I think the 2 best teams are in the grand final, and if Sydney's defence can hold strong, that's going to be the key to their opportunity to win, and I think it could be an upset.
Okay, we'll wait and see. Enjoy the grand final. Thanks to Mix, only at Coles. The technical rehearsals are about to begin here at the MCG. We'll see you soon. Well, this week is all about Hawthorn and Sydney, and joining me to preview the grand final is Essendon champion Matthew Lloyd. Welcome to Sirens.
Thanks, Ange. Great to be here.
Good to have you on the show. First of all, have we got the right two teams in the grand final?
We have. I think it's great that the top four at the end of the home and away has made it to the last four, the prelims. But now I think Sydney beating Adelaide like they did in the first final, and the way they beat Collingwood, I think that they rightly deserve to take on Hawthorn at the MCG.
So Sydney didn't sneak up on you like they did to other people?
I didn't expect them to make the top four at the start of the year, but it didn't take long for me to see that they're the real deal, and they've stood the test of time over the course of the year, and the way they beat Adelaide and also Collingwood, they've been pretty impressive.
From what you saw on the weekend, what sort of game are you expecting on Saturday?
It's going to be a hard, tight affair. I watched the game at the SCG only 4 or 5 weeks ago when Sydney jumped out of the blocks because they didn't allow Hawthorn any time and space, but they couldn't maintain that pressure, and as a result, Hawthorn, you give them time and space, they really hurt you, and so I think it'll be a tough affair like all grand finals are.
Do you think Sydney would have taken some comfort from what they saw with Hawthorn on the weekend?
Yeah, I think so. I saw a few chinks in the armour with the way Adelaide opened them up through the centre corridor, and what Tippett and Walker did, dragging Gibson out of the play and isolating Schoenmakers. I think that's something that I haven't seen for most of the season.
Okay, well, who is going to win and why?
I still can't tip against Hawthorn. Sydney have only won 3 of their last 13 at the MCG, so they don't have a great record there. They don't play there very often. I'm probably not as confident on that tip as I would have been 7 days ago, but I just still feel that Hawthorn probably got a few of the cobwebs, a few of the nerves out because they're such a heavy favourite against Adelaide. And I think with the X factor they have, I don't think Sydney can kick a big enough score. I think their forward line with Mitch Morton, Sam Reid, who's not in great form, Roberts Thompson's just a competitive type of player. I think Adam Good's a lot's relied on him, and I think Hawthorn can win by maybe 4 or 5 goals.
Okay, we're entering the brave new world of free agency. As a one-club player, do you fear that it may signal the end of loyalty?
I still think there's a lot of loyalty there. I think that players just nowadays want to get the best deal for themselves because it's such a short career and you're soon turfed out when you're not good enough. So I think loyalty will always remain at AFL footy, but I think it's great for players to, even the lesser players, to be able to get to a club without having to go through the trade period because it can be pretty laborious at times.
This is one from the fans. You booted 926 goals. You are the right man to ask about this. If you were to conduct a masterclass on goal kicking, what would be the key piece of advice you would pass on?
Find a routine. I think it's amazing that at AFL level still so many players don't have something they can fall back on, don't have a routine, and it's amazing how it hasn't improved. So it'd be firstly, not everyone's routine's the same, but you must find one and stick to it, rain, hail or shine.
Okay. Carlton, did the club lower its colours with the way it treated Brett Ratton and brought in Mick Malthouse?
I don't think so. I think there's no easy way of sacking your coach, and I view it like the Mark Harvey, Ross Lyon situation. They felt that there's someone sitting there who is a far superior coach, and Ratton's held his head up high and things like that, but I think Mick Malthouse is a proven coach and they've done the right thing by going and getting their man.
Okay. Travis Cloke, where will he be next season?
I think he'll stay at Collingwood. I think it's all about that 5th year, and he's shown this final series that without Travis Cloke they will fall a long way back, so I think he'll remain at the club.
Video review system, yes or no?
I like it because you get the right choice. It's just the way they're not calling for it at times and calling for it at other times. I think they've got the confusion's there, but I think it's the game's better for it.
And your own coaching aspirations, you're doing a wonderful job in the media. Do you harbour AFL coaching aspirations?
I do in terms of a goal kicking, body work, helping young forwards, but I don't from a full-time perspective. I've got a young family, enjoy the lifestyle that media gives you and family life. So I don't harbour ambitions to be a senior coach, so I feel why go in and be an assistant. So that's where life's at now. Yeah.
You've made such a smooth transition from football to the media. You're enjoying it, obviously?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, it's something that I did my hamstring off the bone when I was 28 and thought to myself, what do I want to do? Media was it, and I've gone after it, and I've really enjoyed it.
Terrific. Well, enjoy grand final week and the game, and thanks for joining us on Sirens.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to the Sirens Top 5, and this week we have a grand final flavour. First question is from me, Gitch. What is your favourite grand final moment?
Oh, well, I think it's pretty obvious. I'm going to say 2010 when Collingwood won the grand final. All the board and supporters got on the bus with the players and we went to Amy Stadium and 35,000 Collingwood supporters were chanting Collingwood, and just to see the players standing there and to be standing behind and watching, it was heartbreaking. It was a melting moment.
Yes, mine was the 1997 grand final. The Adelaide Crows won. For those who need reminding, Darren Jarman booted 6 goals, 5 in the last quarter. It was simply magnificent.
Oh, look, I'm a bit ashamed to say this, but mine's the 2007 grand final. So Geelong, Port Adelaide. I didn't watch the game, but I went out to my car and turned on the radio at 3/4 time. I hadn't watched a game since 1994. So scarred was I from the West Coast grand final. And Geelong were 95 points up, and I remember just sitting in my car and being so happy. So that's probably my favourite grand final moment.
This question's from One Fringe. Do you like the idea of a twilight or a night grand final?
I'm not into the night final. I think for the time of the football under lights, it'd be sensational, but it's no good for the supporters and the players afterwards. So you get no dinner to celebrate where everyone gets to come together, and it really sort of messes up the Aussie barbecue that you get in the afternoon.
I'm with you. I'm a traditionalist on this one. I prefer the grand final where it is. You go to breakfast and you watch the game, and the sun sometimes shines during the day. It's fabulous.
Look, I'm okay with it. The other thing I'm worried about is just the rating, the TV rating. What if it's a massacre? And that's a family time slot. I'm just worried that, over dinner time, not a good time for the kids to be watching a game. Yeah. So I think, no, just keep it in the daytime when the kids are having a nap.
Yeah. This next one's from Antonia Dutton. Who do you want to win on Saturday?
Oh, I definitely want Sydney to win. I think that their defence is outstanding, and I think they've just got a real chance. Longmire has set a fantastic culture up there in Sydney, and they're so disciplined. Their preparation's been so strong, and the way they put Collingwood down last week with true mongrel and hunger, I think that they deserve to have their skill and poise take them the whole way.
Okay. I don't really care who wins after the events of last weekend. As long as it's a close and attacking style of game, I'll be happy.
Look, I'd be happy to see Sydney win. The thought of Josh Kennedy standing up on that podium with a medal in his hand and just rubbing it in Hawthorn's face, that would just really make my day.
Okay, this one's from Bosco_17. Who's your tip for the Norm Smith medal?
I'm going to pick up where you were. I'm going to go with Josh Kennedy.
Yep. I'm tipping Cyril Rioli. I'd love to see him win it.
Yeah, look, I think Sam Mitchell, Cyril Rioli, but wouldn't it be good to see Goodsy get up and win it? He steps up in finals. I'd love to see him take it out.
Okay, and finally from Beth Hume Studio, who's your dream grand final entertainment?
Oh, look, if it's not Bruce Springsteen, then I just think bring out Julie Anthony. Get her out. No one does it better than her. Go, Julie.
Right. I would like to see Bruce Springsteen here. There was that wild rumour that went around at the start of the season that he was going to be here for the grand final. Unfortunately, the rumour amounted to nothing, but wouldn't that just be fabulous?
Well, I think that this year the AFL's gone a huge step forward from where they were last year, but I'd actually like to see it a little bit like an opening ceremony of the Olympics, where you've got a number of different performers. Bring out the young and the old Australian performers, and anyone international that wants a gig. The AFL shouldn't have to pay. It should be an aspirational event to want to be a part of, and I think that would be magnificent.
Okay. Speaking of aspirational, congratulations to Chelsea Roffey, who's going to be goal umpiring the grand final. And I think we can take some credit for that.
Absolutely.
We have been mounting a campaign to get her there.
Oh, but well deserved. She did very well on Friday night, and congratulations.
Yay. Selected on merit.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
History making, which is wonderful. Okay, well that's it for the Sirens Top 5. Thanks to Mix, Only at Coles, and the MCG. See you soon.